Water. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? We thank you for tuning into the Sports, Life, and Everything Else podcast, a.k.a. S.L.E.E.P, where sports, life, and entertainment collide. Presented by the away team, this is technically episode 106 for us, but it's our very first episode produced by
Excellence!
My name is Michael Roberts, a.k.a. Mike on the mic, and I'm joined by my friend and co-host, Mr. Taylor Suber.
Yo, what's up, everybody? What's going on? Long time no see. What's going on?
Taylor, how you feeling?
I'm always feeling good, man. Blessed. I'm here, man. I can't complain, man.
Beautiful. We still grinding. We still trying to get to it. We just had to find a slightly different avenue to go about. And definitely salute to our other producer, Mr. E, Eric David. He was working with us for the first 105 episodes that we did of the show. But, you know, at that point in time, everything was all audio, and we kind of wanted to switch things up and give y'all a visual aspect to it. So that's where everything is, and that's where we at with it right now.
Y'all can see our faces, yeah.
Exactly. You can follow us on Twitter and IG or subscribe to the YouTube page at Sleep is for You. That's S.L.E.E.P.I.S, the number 4YOU. We are now officially on YouTube, so you can watch us there. As Taylor said, you can see our faces.
Yep.
Or, as always, listen to episodes wherever you find your podcast, because we're everywhere you are. Spotify, Apple, anywhere.
All over the place, yeah.
Most importantly, subscribe to the YouTube page, because we're trying to spread like chicken pox. Show love, show hate. We here for it all. Tell a friend to tell two friends about us. In today's episode, we'll be giving you a look into our thoughts about the situation with the Compton Canadian War and hip-hop beef just in general. We'll be listing the top 5 things we feel have happened since our last episode, because, you know, we've been away for a minute. And, of course, all that good sports talk that makes this the top shelf and keeps the good people tuning in. So without any further ado, let's spin.
Let's go.
So, T, you and I, we're both 80s babies.
Yep.
I was born in 86. You was born in 84.
Yep.
So as far as sports and as far as the NBA goes, we've seen a lot of people come and go, a lot of greats come and go. We've seen typically referred to as the changing of the guard.
Absolutely.
More than a few times.
It happens all the time.
You know what I'm saying? Every maybe 10, 15 years, depending on, longevity and health and, staying away from injuries and those types of things. That's kind of the window of greatness in a lot of cases. Everybody's not LeBron. Everybody's not Kobe with a 20-year career. Everybody's not Dirk Nowitzki. But, you'll get your stretch. You'll get your run.
Absolutely.
And we're coming to a place where it looks like it's getting to the end of a couple people's stretches and a couple people's runs.
Yep.
When we're talking about, LeBron is out of the playoffs at this point.
It's solid.
KD and the Suns, the super team Suns, are out of the playoffs at this point.
Yep.
Steph, they didn't even make the playoffs.
barely made the play in.
So it's not
the
really
last
looking
couple
good
of years too. Yeah.
For a lot of these teams. And the Suns, they were just constructed, so you give them a little bit of leeway. They don't have a point guard. They're not very deep. They have to add some things to enhance their situation. But there are also rumors that KD wants to get up out of there.
They need a lot of help. Their team was basically depleted. They had the 3 players, which were good, but then after your 4th, 5th, and 6th guys, you're talking about Eric Gordon, and so the team was depleted. And everyone knows in the NBA you need a complete team of 7, 8-man rotation, sometimes 9 to 10, depending on injuries and stuff like that. The Suns didn't have that because once people got hurt, they still weren't. When Beal was out and Booker was in and out, and the team wasn't. Team was kind of weak.
Shaky.
I liked the center. What's his name? Nurkic was dope, but they needed a lot more help, and that's why they wet the bed when it all mattered.
Well, it comes down to it don't matter how good your starting lineup is if you don't have nobody to bring in when they get tired, because they're not going to play 48 minutes, 82 games, and play 48 minutes all the playoffs.
They didn't have any
people that's going to come in on reserve to replace that production that they're giving you on the court. We see that being from Philly. Embiid. Whenever Joel Embiid leaves the game, there's a drop-off in scoring and in defense. But it's very hard to replace the talent and the level of play and intensity that Joel Embiid brings to the court.
Mm-hmm. Well,
But
back in the day, remember when you had an older team, you had guys that were on the bench that were, somewhat younger. Maybe they were journeymen and stuff like that. And they would kind of like invigorate the team. Like, remember when Boston had like Eddie House? He would come in. He was maybe a little bit younger than those guys, but he had been all over the place. But he could come in and kind of give them that little jolt and stuff like that. Or back when the Bulls had, they had a younger guy, what's his name? Like Tony Kukoc. If he wasn't starting or not, he could come off the bench and give him. But if your team is just basically, 3 or 4 guys that have been veterans, and then you got younger players. I mean, kind of like an old bench because they had Eric Gordon. He's just as old as those guys. And then you have to stretch it out to where you have to have a nice amount of veterans and a nice amount of not completely young players, but like that balance.
Kind of like up and coming players.
Up and coming, mid to late 20s. They know what their role is and stuff like that. They didn't have that.
Exactly. But the point that I was trying to get to was that these guys are kind of going out, and we're getting a whole new crop of young guys that are stars that are kind of knocking on that superstar status level with guys like Anthony Edwards, guys like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, guys like Luka Doncic. These guys are undeniably coming up in the league and coming up in levels and in status. They're all still in the playoffs right now.
You can put Halliburton up in there too. Barely 24 years old.
Indiana's still in the playoffs. So definitely salute to all those guys and to the strides and the upward movements that they're making with their careers from where they started to now. But I just kind of wanted to get your take on how you feel about these guys seemingly going out and these young guys coming in.
Well, it's good. I think, it happens all the time. Remember when Bird and Magic came in, and then maybe 4 or 5 years you had MJ and Hakeem and then Barkley, and then I think Sidney Moncrief was in that draft. Like, the guys came out of that draft. So every 4 or 5 years you'll get like a good crop of players. So over the last couple of years, I think, well, in 2020, which was the pandemic year, you had Lonzo. Not Lonzo. Was it LaMelo? But Anthony was the first. But then Maxey went down a little bit later. So a lot of those draft picks in that 2000 draft are kind of,
they're emerging now.
They're getting their shot right now, whether they was drafted the year before or the year after. Tyrese Halliburton was drafted in the last 4 or 5 years. I think what's his name? Luka was drafted like in 2018 or 19, him and Trey. So all these guys are within the same couple of years of each other, and they're all around the same age, under the age of 24, 25 years old. So eventually it's going to happen, whereas the older guys are just going to get pushed out, and that's kind of what it is. And you think about it, if a player is 35,
like an Eskimo.
Yeah, if you think about a player is 35 years old with like a KD, and he started when he was 19, that's 16 years on the body. You know what I mean? And plus he missed the whole year. Same thing with LeBron. He started when he was 18 or 19 years old.
Yeah.
He's about to be 40. Yeah. That's over 20 some odd years. So you kind of think about, no, these guys aren't starting like MJ when they started when they was 21, 22. These guys are starting at 19, and some of these guys are playing immediately.
And it's a lot of wear and tear because they're playing deep into the season. They're not just leaving after the regular season. They're playing deep into the playoffs.
Playing way deep into the playoffs.
You got a guy like LeBron that had, 10 straight finals appearances?
Exactly.
So how much basketball is that?
Exactly. So eventually you can kind of see toward the end of the season, LeBron was missing games. KD was kind of taking games on. Now you start seeing the quote-unquote load management for the older players, and as you get into that playoffs, when you have to turn it back up, it's kind of like, well, dang, I don't know. You kind of saw with some of these players, they're like, I don't have that extra gear. I mean, you saw Maxey. Maxey was out there getting it in. Yeah. You know what I mean? In all those playoff games. So he's 23, 24 years old. So
he falls into that crop of guys that really graduated. Yeah. I would say this past postseason, even though the Sixers checked out, due to Embiid being out and just various things not falling their way, but Tyrese Maxey really showed up and showed why he deserves consideration as one of the top players at his position in the league. So,
got the most improved player.
He definitely did. We saluted him on the IG page.
He's probably going to get, if he don't get they'll probably get a third team, which means if he gets third team with these new rules right now, he played all the games as opposed to anybody else who played less, like Trey Young or something like that, who was out with a broken hand. If he gets third team, that's going to up in his bank account to $40 million, extra $40 million. So
that gives him a bump, eh?
Yeah, so if the Sixers would have signed him last year, it'd have been a little bit cheaper. But now they're going to have to pay. Now they're like, well, dang, we want to pay him, but we might have to pay him $250 million a year for the next 5 years. You know what I mean? So kind of like what they gave to Ben Simmons a couple of years ago, because he was a all-star and he made I think he made one of those first, maybe second or third. So they about to do it with this kid right here. So it's good. I mean, and you know, we haven't even talked about Ja Morant. Like I said, it's not just these guys that we see right now. There's guys that's you know, they're not in the playoff.
That's not in there. Like talk about Sacramento with De'Aaron Fox.
Yeah, De'Aaron Fox. He's
Domantas
still there.
Sabonis. They're both
Sabonis,
young, up and coming guys that are hungry. That
absolutely
want to get their team further.
My man down,
they fell short.
My man down in Houston is a Jalen Green. He pushed it. They almost made the play in, but
they pushed the line.
Made Golden State kind of, we got to make the play in. You know what I mean? And then once they spilled their bucket, that was it. They had no more gap because they had to win those last, because Houston was on their heels. So
yes, sir. You can go down to a team like Orlando that was not really that good for the past couple of years. They was figuring it out, compiling people, putting talent together. And a guy like Paolo Banchero comes down there, helps them to kind of start solidifying things, kind of steps forward as being like that guy on the team. And what's my man name? The Bull Thomas down there, the guard.
You talking about Suggs?
Oh yeah, Suggs. I'm getting him confused with Jalen Thomas up in Brooklyn.
Oh no, that's Cam Thomas.
Cam Thomas.
You can put him up in there too. But yeah, Jalen Suggs is like a really good defender. He's known for his defense, stuff like that. If his offense can keep up with his defense, he'll be another quote unquote primetime player. He's a young man too.
He's a good contributor to their team.
Yeah, he definitely is.
That they have.
Yeah, and they got 3 young guys, including I think Cole Anthony still. So they have a quote unquote young team too. Absolutely, yep.
And that's what it's all about, is having that young, good combination and nucleus of guys as your team develops and comes up and gets better.
Jason Tatum, technically, I think he just turned 26. So all these guys are very, very young. So yes, we're going to see some of these older guys slow down. You saw James Harden, he's slowing down. Yeah. Kawhi Leonard can't even get on the floor. You know what I mean? KD hairline is receding and he got the ball spot. I mean, these guys are getting.
Real quick, I just want to ask you, did you see what Rudy Gay?
What did Rudy Gay say?
Was on the podcast with Carmelo and the homie that's on there with him. Is it Jesus?
Oh, Miro.
Yeah, Miro, the kid Miro.
Oh, okay. All right.
So he was talking about how he was watching the game at home.
Yeah.
At the crib with his son. And he said his son is, I think, 10.
Whose son? Miro's son.
Rudy Gay.
Rudy Gay's son. Okay.
Rudy Gay's at the crib. He's watching the game, the Timberwolves game against Phoenix.
Yeah.
At the crib with his son. And Ant does his thing, goes to the basket, gets that crazy banger on KD, and the son says, "Wow, Daddy dunked on his ball spot."
Yeah, he did, man. It's it's bad. Like, I like KD, but I mean, I'm 4 years older than him, and I still got all my hair, so I don't know what's going on. He don't have no kids. He's not married, so I don't know. But he does. Like, at some points, he did like a quote unquote old man, and KD is one of my, he's one of my guys over the past decade. I like how he gets down. I like how he plays. I like how you could he's one of the few players you can just insert him in. Okay, all right. I don't need no position. I'll go out there and I'll get you 30 and 10. You know what I mean? I might not play all 82, but I'll play about 65 to 60. And then when I get in the playoffs, I'll do my thing, just like he did when he played for Brooklyn. So,
no doubt.
But at a point, it's going to, it's going to slow down for him too. You know what I mean? It's slowed down for all his teammates that he was with. Russell Westbrook is coming off the bench. James Harden is probably not going to get that money that he thought he was going to get. So a lot of these guys that have been in, for over, close to 15 years, balling over 15 years, it's going to be over with. It's kind for the what they call them? Do they call them Gen Z? Now the Gen Z kids are here, man. You know what I mean? All these kids, they grew up and the phone was just there and YouTube was there. Like, we grew up when it wasn't there. This is different. You know what I mean? It's different right now for these kids to, to just hop on and just go viral and do what they got to do, and you know what I mean, and leave. You know, unfortunately, the older guys get pushed to the side. It's been like that for probably since before us. You know, I'm pretty sure. What's his name? Wilt Chamberlain was like, "Oh man, it's time for me to get up out of here." You know what I mean? Like these guys are jumping out the gym. You know what I mean?
It
So
gets to that point. Them young guys,
Larry
they
Bird had
got
the
a different
bad
type of motor than you.
he couldn't play no more. He's like, yo, you know what? I'm done. I can't chase these little dudes around no more. I got to go. So it happens.
That's how it is, man. It goes down. Eventually,
but I love it. I
left.
love Ant. I love the. At first, I didn't like Ant at first, but he's matured his game and he's gotten way better, and he still can. He can still grow if he can get that 3-point shot together. Because once he gets in that paint, he's a problem. And he plays. I remember that block shot from like 2-3 months ago. That was at the end of the half. That was crazy. You know what I mean? So yeah, and it's good that Cat can kind of go to like the second or third best player on that team. You know what I mean? Because I never thought he was going to be the number one guy.
Cat's got to get it together.
Yeah, he does have to get it together. But you know, the Ant is the alpha on that team. At 22 years old, he gets it in. And you saw, remember, they made the play in or play off the last 2 or 3 years since after his first year when he was. So they've been on the come up of getting into the playoff, as is OKC too. Shea Gildas, they made the play in last year without Chet Holmgren. Now Chet's back. You know, you could put Chet up in there because he's 21. He's actually played very, very well.
Yeah, no doubt.
Jalen Green, and I'm sorry, not Jalen Green. Jalen Williams, average. Yeah. I mean, if Max didn't win, he could have won Most Improved Player because he's averaging close to 20 points. You know what I mean? So that whole team is all young down at OKC, and they got like 8 to 20 first round picks. They can get better or trade for a veteran that might not like where he's at. They got 10 to 15 autumn draft pick that people was making fun of them 2 or 3 years ago. They're actually better right now. They got the cast off Isaiah Joe down there, who was on the Sixers for all them years, and they found a spot for him coming off the bench.
Yeah. Well, you know, that's how it goes. Somebody gets shipped off from somewhere and he goes somewhere else and turns up and does what he has to do, and he contributes to that team in a different way than he was in the last place. So
I like that
team.
How it goes. They kind of remind me of goal because once Golden State got into the playoffs that one year, and then the very next year they just took over. Like they didn't need a lot of. They was learning on the job, but once they got in, they was like, we better than all these cats. And that team is really like, don't be surprised if you see them in the finals. Like OKC is really good. I don't know who the coach is. I know he just won Coach of the Year. You know what I mean?
So let's switch up the question just a little bit. How long do we think that LeBron and guys like KD and them have left in the league of being productive or wanting to hang around? I saw somebody say, I think it was Rich Paul. He said that physically LeBron could probably play for another 10 years, but he said mentally and as far as his family goes and the fact that he wants to be there for his family more, be there for his kids more, he sees the end is coming. He says about 2 or 3 years. Well,
Rich Paul, he's capping, but that's his homie, you know what I mean? So, and they ride together, but no, I hate to say it, LeBron's been washed. He's been washed for 5 years. Like, don't get me wrong, he puts up great numbers.
Now, keep in mind, people, Taylor is a staunch.
But I'm about to be
LeBron James hater.
But I'm about to be objective.
He goes hard in the paint.
He puts up great numbers.
25
to 28 points. I'm giving that. He's averaging close to triple doubles, but I'm not seeing him getting anybody better. AD is going to be AD, but I haven't like D'Angelo Russell. He's not good. You know what I mean? What's the white kid's name? Reeves. He's okay.
No love for D'Lo.
No, D'Lo. He's a bum, man. Like he's been traded all.
I'll say he's streaky.
He's all over the place, but like none of these.
Some games he might come out and he might have like 35. Next game he'll come out he might have like 6.
At this point in LeBron's career, he doesn't need to be the number 1, but that don't mean that he can't get it in. He needs to be the number 2 unless somebody else kind of, and he can just play off of them. But he's so he's been doing this for so long. He wants to be that number 1 guy, but I don't think he can galvanize that team. You just showed me they're 123 and 123 over the past 2 or 3 years. 3 years.
I just saw that on IG over the course of the past 3 years.
Yeah.
The Lakers have a record of 123 and 123.
Yeah, he gets his numbers. He plays. He makes the All-Star. He's piling up all the points. He's the leading scorer. I think he's compiling a little bit. But
they've been taking advantage of the play-in.
Yeah, exactly. They made it playing for him. You know what I mean? But it's just like I don't see him getting anybody better.
They won the first in-game tournament. or in season tournament
Yeah,
championship.
Yeah,
you know?
I forgot about that.
Salute.
But he got guys like Rui Hachimari. Like, these guys are actually good. I don't see him getting those guys, quote unquote, better. Like, I think those guys can actually be better. I don't want to compare him to anybody else, but I'm just not seeing the team get better, as he's there. And then you could tell because he'll switch. All right, when I want to switch these guys out and bring these guys in, he's not getting anybody better. I think if he would have kept that team after the bubble, the Kuzma, look at Kuzma right now. Kuzma's averaging almost 23, 24 points a game.
Yeah, he's just lost in the sauce in Washington because they're trying to ask him to leave.
Yeah, exactly. But and you brought in Russell Westbrook.
Jordan,
I thought that was just
not about that.
That was a horrible move. I thought if he'd have kept that team, I think they would be better off. It wouldn't have been the most pizzazz team as opposed to the name, but you'd have had Kuzma. You'd have still had Anthony Davis, him, and I don't think they had Rondo, but they maybe had like Dennis Schroeder or somebody like that. Like I thought they could have added to that team a little bit more. Maybe you still get a Reeves or somebody like that because he was undrafted. I think the team would be better off, but he gets frustrated and trades out people and brings in new people. You got to have cohesiveness in a team. You have to be sitting there, with two or three. Jaylen Brown and Tatum, they've been playing together for 6-7 years.
All right,
KD
let's get off LeBron for a minute. You was talking about KD and his ball spot. Well, I was talking about LeBron, KD and his ball spot.
Yeah,
and I brought it home a couple of years ago. Not a couple of years ago, actually a couple of months ago.
Yeah,
I decided to make that transition and come on home. But I was married. I do have 3 kids, and I have a good amount of stress in my life.
Yeah.
But that's just how it goes. That's what it is, and we deal with that. But on the topic of that, KD, how long do we think he has left? Do we think he has 2 to 3 years? Do we think he has 5 years? Because, like I said, he's trying to get up out of Phoenix and go somewhere else.
KD
where do we see him going?
He needs to stay there, bro. Stay there, bro. What if 2 years from now you're in the playoff? Like Devin Booker is still young, a young man.
Yeah.
Nurkic is not that old. Yeah, I mean, just stay there and just chill. I don't know. Maybe Bill. I think Bill should be coming off the bench, but that's a whole nother story. But they just have to construct the team a little better. You just can't throw people together. I'm an all-star. You're an all-star. You know what I mean? like the song, Let's Get Paid, whatever that song was called. You just can't throw people together in a pot and think it's going to taste good. You have to sit there and just let it go. So
sometimes the gumbo got to sizzle.
Yeah,
you gotta let it sit for a while and let the ingredients work together.
The NBA has changed it to the NBA, which is instead of the national basketballs, it's the NBA mercenary basketball. So people are just, I'm going here, we going here. I'm gonna be a mercenary over in New York, and I'm gonna be a mercenary over in case.
KD was just in Brooklyn, 2-3 years ago?
Just stay on a team for 2 or 3 years. You never know what can happen. People get hurt. Things can happen. I mean, just stay. Just stay on the team, man. Yeah, I think if you'd have stayed with Brooklyn, but that outside stuff happened, but just stay in Phoenix, man.
After they made that trade, it wasn't really a whole lot of room for them because they was trying to build around Bridges and Cam Johnson.
Stay with the team.
And, the guys that they
get
had.
some second-round picks and galvanize those players.
What they run into as far as the young guy versus the old guy.
You got to be patient, man.
At some point, they got to start building for the future, right?
Mm-hmm. You're absolutely right. Yeah. So I just want him to stay there, and just chill, finish your career out down in Phoenix. Stop the ring chasing, man. You got 2, so not like you're trying to preserve your legacy. Just stay there and just chill with Devin. But Devin Booker's not going nowhere. Just stay there and just chill.
Yeah, well,
that's what I would do.
We'll see how that plays out. Either way, Phoenix got to get themselves a point guard because Brad Beal ain't no point guard.
No, he's not really a point guard. That was, like I said, it was just wasn't a bad match.
But that's not to take shots at Brad Beal. Salute to him. He definitely gets in and gets busy on the court.
Mm-hmm.
So getting out of our discussion about sports and the NBA and what's going on recently with that, you and I are from the suburbs.
Yes, absolutely.
For all of you out there that don't know.
Yes, proud.
Taylor and I are from the suburbs.
Yes.
We're both from 2-parent households.
2-parent households.
Our mother and our father stayed together throughout our lives.
Absolutely.
So that's kind of giving you a little makeup of where we're from and what's going on with that. But we've always been fans of hip hop. We've always been fans of,
and we're black too. I'm just letting everybody know.
General.
Yeah, we're black. Yeah, the black families stay together. I know they like to just there's no narratives. No, they stay together. You know what I mean?
No
the
doubt,
old
no
ones,
doubt.
the young ones, all of us. Yeah.
So we've witnessed, like we said, from the 80s to now, probably from the 90s to now, because that's probably when my recollection really started setting in. As far as like being, knowing what's going on in the world, knowing what's going on with sports, knowing what's going on with music and entertainment and stuff like that. Everything wasn't everywhere like it is now, and everybody didn't have cell phones. It was no internet, but you know, you had TV and you found out things the way you could. TV, magazines, newspapers, and beef has been a central theme in hip hop over this course of time. Just off of the strength that hip hop is, as they say, musically known as a competitive sport.
Yeah.
It's one guy at the top. It's other guys that's trying to get that spot. So they got to go back and forth, and that's kind of the way that it goes. From the LL Cool J's and Cannabises to Biggie's and Nas's to not Biggie and Tupac to Jay-Z
You
and
could
Nas.
put Biggie and Nas. There was like an undercover.
There was a little undertones and some stuff going on between them two.
Kicking the door was for Nas, but Biggie passed away, so it never really got. You
had Cameron, who was famous for getting into situations. You had 50 Cent, who was obviously famous for getting into situations.
KRS-One and MC Shan, man. I'm old, man. I remember all this stuff, man.
Salute. Take it back.
Cool Mo D and LL. I'm old, man.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? That brings us to the present.
Yeah.
And right now, we got, as I said earlier, the Compton-Canadian War.
Yeah.
Because, as we know, Drake and Kendrick is kind of the central themes of that back and forth. You also have some contributions from Ricky Rose coming from Miami, calling them all types of white boys, and, doing what he do, trolling on IG stories and videos. You got Drake having a little situation going on right now with A$AP Rocky. He threw him a couple shots on his most recent diss track, Family Matters.
Who else? He gave some bars to Future. He didn't say his name.
Yeah, Future's included too.
Yeah, then the producer
on
Metro.
Metro Boomin. shut your whole ass up and make some drums.
It's a lot of moving parts in this beef.
Yeah,
I can't even keep up.
It's a lot going on. There's a lot going on.
Mind you, these people were cool less than a year ago.
Exactly. They was doing songs together. They was hanging out, taking the IG picture together. Everything was love and everything was straight.
Rose shouted him out back in November on congratulations on the album. This is November, and now he's upset.
And just to give the good people a little update about what's going on as far as the numbers where we're at right now. It started with Like That, the Future song, which Kendrick was featured on, and he gave him a couple of jabs on the verse towards Drake and J. Cole. J. Cole came back with 7-Minute Drill, which he then took down.
Copped a plea.
Drake popped up with push-ups and told him drop and give him 50. Then Drake popped up with the Tailor-Made freestyle, which featured an AI version of Tupac and an AI version of Snoop Dogg, which I still don't understand because Snoop Dogg is still alive. So
and that got snatched off.
Clearly, Snoop wasn't going to be cool with you asking him for that because he wasn't going to be a part of that. So that was weird, but he took that down after a cease and desist and threats from the Shakur family estate to sue. Kendrick turned around and dropped Euphoria, which was shots, and that was after like an 11 or 12, maybe 13-day
about 2
stretch
weeks or so.
To where there was nothing going on. Academics had a ticker going every day saying it's day 2. We ain't heard nothing. Day 3, we ain't heard nothing. And then after Euphoria, Kendrick then dropped 616 in L.A., which was his version of Back to Back, and I kind of thought it was coming. Because on Euphoria, he has a bar where he says something about back to back and how he likes that, and he's going to get back to that. Yeah. If you could read between them lines, you knew what it was, too. But then after the 616 in L.A., Drake dropped Family Matters, which was
Family Matters is the problem.
That joint's kind of hard.
I don't go to club, but that's going to be in the club this summer.
You got the 3 switch up beats on that, and that last beat is the hardest of the 3, in my opinion.
I think I like the middle one, but you might be right about the
middle
last
one was all right, but that last one, that last one is different.
I liked all the beats though. Yeah.
Whew. But that joint was a shot. That joint was definitely a shot. And then Kendrick followed that. When I went to sleep last night, I had seen Family Matters was out. Obviously, we saw 616 in L.A. was out earlier in the day. Salute on that Al Green sample.
Yeah,
smooth.
That was dope, yeah.
Smooth. But point that I'm trying to make is that I woke up this morning and my man texted me and said Kendrick dropped something else, and I said what? And that's called
To Meet the Grams.
Meet the Grams, exactly.
Yeah.
And that one
And now it's up. It's
Dear
up now.
Adonis, I'm sorry that man's your father.
Yeah.
That's how the track starts.
Less than an
That's
hour
the-
after
that's the
less
first-
than, less than an hour after Drake thought he had the kill shot and he walked off. He was probably doing a John Shaft walk. Yeah, I just killed this whole joint. And next thing you know, somebody shot him in the back of the leg. He's like,
Put his sniper rifle back in the
bring your light skinned ass back here, nigga. You ain't going nowhere.
He put his sniper rifle back in the briefcase. He walked off, and then he realized when he got to the crib that man wasn't gone.
It was like Michael
He got
Myers.
to the crib and they was playing Meet the Grams when he got to the crib.
You think you killed
He
Michael
walked
Myers?
in, and he had the look on his face, and
Michael Myers stands up and he's got you gripped up like, no, nigga, I'm not dead. So
done walked you down, and you was running.
yeah.
But we gonna see how that what comes next. You know, if Drake has a comeback for that. I think Academic said he had something coming.
We'll see.
And didn't he post something on IG? You was talking about that on the story where he was spitting over the
over the Kendrick
Buried Alive.
Yeah, there's a lot of moving parts. I'm pretty sure.
Take Care.
all-
Drake had a song called Marvin's Room, and the other half of that was Buried Alive, and that was one of the biggest appearances of Kendrick at that time. He spit over that beat, and it was hard. And Drake kind of mimicked that and did his own thing over it. I mean, I don't have a dog in the race right now. I don't have I don't really care which way it goes. I just want to see it continue to go on. I just want to continue the back and forth. I just want to see the disrespect because it's not going to turn up. It's not going to turn into nobody dying. It's not going to turn into nobody losing they livelihood or somebody's career being over. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's getting quote unquote job ruled.
No.
You know what I'm saying? That's
Or
not
cannabis.
or cannabis. That's not what we talking about right here. We talking about two guys that's at the top of their game that have a gang of fans on both sides. You know what I'm saying? Kendrick essentially, for all intents and purposes, represents a coast. You know what I'm saying? Coming from LA, coming from California. California is the majority of the West Coast, so there's a lot of people in California that support him and rock with him. Obviously not everybody. That's not what I'm saying. But there's a good amount of people that's in his camp. And then Drake represents a country. You know what I'm saying? He's international. He's worldwide. People rock with Drake. People rock with Kendrick. So I heard it said it's just a matter of the people that was on the fringe that really didn't like Drake before. This just gave them a reason to go over the edge and absolutely not like Drake. And same thing with Kendrick. The people that was kind of like on the edge with Kendrick, this pushed them over the edge. And they're like, you know what? Get them up out of here. So that's just kind of what it is with that situation right now. I mean, Taylor, where you see it going? Taylor was just happy that he feels like we're in the abyss right now.
Yeah, we're in the
And whenever
abyss.
there's a situation like this with a back and forth on wax or whatever like that, Taylor just wants to see it go to the abyss.
I just want to see the worst of these two guys. Like I said, I know these guys. They got all types of awards. They got all kind of money. They got. They both have children and stuff like that. So this is like the first beef where these guys are well established past their career. Usually, when you saw beef back in the day, it was usually in the first 4 or 5 years where I'm trying to get to where you at, and I'll do anything to knock you down. This is the first one where these guys are well established, got a bunch of awards. They don't really have to do this, so they're just doing this, for the entertainment purposes of the people.
It's for the sport of it
on the internet, whether it be on
and the other one wants to be up.
Yeah, that's what it is. You know what I mean? So I appreciate them for even diving, because one could like, no, I'm straight. Like Jay Fold did. He folded. He didn't want no smoke. You know what I mean? He took he took his ball, took his punk ass home, and I'm glad he did, because I think he knew where this was going to go. He knows both of these guys.
He knew it was about to get
very,
crazy.
Very
it was about to get dirty.
Yeah, he probably like,
listen, about to get wild.
I don't want to be in the middle
of this. I'm not trying to be a part of that. I'm not trying to get down the mud with these guys. Kendrick is actually my man.
I'm going to dip me a Sprite.
I really shouldn't have jumped in it at the first place. He just said my name, so I said something back.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
He got out. You know what I mean?
I'm sorry.
He got out, and he should. He got out, went to the outlet, probably bought himself some open toe sandals, and say, I'm going to be a chump, and I don't want no smoke. And I can salute that. I salute him for doing that. I'm going to troll and clown him, but he didn't want no smoke.
He bowed out. He bowed out before he got cut out.
And because right now these guys are in the dirt, their fingernails are dirty. You know what I mean? And I salute it. You know what I mean? I think these guys, they're there's obviously something behind the scene that nobody knows. So I know everybody on the internet's putting up all these. We don't know what's going on, but I'm here for the entertainment. I like it. I love it. You know what I mean? I didn't think it was going to get here 3 or 4 days ago, but we're here right now, and we're loving it, and we're just bathing in it. People are on the internet making videos and doing all types of shorts and breakdowns of the album covers.
Yeah,
and it's dope.
And the titles of the diss tracks.
Yeah.
You know what's L? We came up in a period where if somebody dropped a diss track, first of all, it wasn't always diss tracks.
Yeah.
Sometimes it would just be somebody would hop on somebody else's song and there would be a
Say
verse.
something slick, yeah.
Like, for example, one of my all-time favorites is Stomp by Young Buck.
Oh, yeah.
Featuring, at that point in time, T.I. and Ludacris, who was having a little back and forth, and they both addressed it on that song, on the verse.
Absolutely.
But back in the day, like I said, when somebody was doing a diss track, a lot of times they would grab the person who was their ops or opponent's record and just spit over their joint. Like, for example, a famous one in Philly, Jadakiss and Beanie Siegel.
Yep.
Back when The Rock was going back and forth with a gang of people. Jadakiss had just dropped Put Your Hands Up. Beanie Siegel jumped on it, spit a gang of bars. It was crazy.
Did.
So I had an affinity for dropping some joints on other people's tracks over other people's, their songs.
Yeah.
But I really like about this beef that this back and forth that they're using original instrumentals,
songs,
using original songs. Like I said, salute to Kendrick's camp, whoever it was that had that idea to come up with that Al Green sample. That was super hard. But I really like that they're doing their own original beats. That's putting their stamp on it. A, B, it's also marketable because they can then put it on streaming platforms and they can make bread off that.
Yep.
That Push Up song was doing numbers when that joint came out, and then the Kendrick response, the Euphoria joint, was doing numbers.
Yep.
When it got dropped on Spotify.
Even Ricky Rose's his response, Champagne Moments, whatever it's called.
Champagne Moments.
He put that up too, and it did numbers too. So it's lucrative for these guys to put this stuff out. As back in the day, you had to like search for it. You had to go get a mixtape or something like that. Now you can profit off of it ASAP.
Did you see Ricky Rose's plane went down? And my man hopped on IG and said that Drake came through with the fighter jet and shot him down like Top Gun.
I heard Rose. Rose's crazy.
Rose is throwed off, man.
He's out of pocket. I don't think he should be even in this. I know he wants to be in it, but he don't have to be like in this.
Apparently he has a horse in the fight because he has a little issue with Drake too, because some shall we say, between the sheets happenings.
Well, Drizzy gave him some bars. He gave him some bars. Like I said, I like all the tracks. Remember, Drake is. Excuse me. I'm not even gonna call him man. I'm gonna call him Aubrey. I'm gonna call these guys by their government name. Aubrey is going at about 6 or 7 dudes that just have a quote unquote problem with him, and I don't have a problem with that. When Jay-Z did Takeover, he was addressing a couple of people and stuff like that.
You had Mobb
Kendrick
Deep,
is easy.
Nas.
Is just going at Drake, and that's it. You know what I mean? So. Drake is, he's trying to, he's basically got the AK out trying to hit anybody he can, and before he gets back in the car. I'm not mad at that.
This is not new. He's not the first. Like you said, Jay-Z went at a bunch of people on Takeover.
Absolutely.
What's my man name? Ice Cube went at a couple of
NWA
people. On No Vaseline.
Mm-hmm.
I had another one in mind just now too.
It happens, man. It just happens. Like, remember when Jay-Z was getting that jazz?
Tupac. He went at the whole East Coast, pretty much.
The whole East Coast, yep. Mm-hmm.
With the exception of obviously Tretch and a couple other individuals. But
what I will say about Aubrey is he's
how it go.
He's keeping it hip hop, and he's not new
with that.
He's not because he can
1v20.
He can easily back down and be like, oh, I don't want to be a part of this.
Y'all gotta relax.
I'm straight. He's taking part in hip hop and what the guys have done before.
And he's in here for it too.
He's getting his nails dirty.
He might be getting a little close to the edge of hanging it up himself, because the last joint he did, the end of it, he just kept saying, "You're dead, you're dead, you're dead." Like he was trying to finish it, like he was trying to end it, as in, "Yo, don't come back, it's over."
Yeah,
and it ain't that. But at least nobody did the thing that certain people do, and they say, "This is the last time I'm gonna address this. We not getting back into it," or whatever like that. on the track when you just got done dissing this dude. Like, nah, we not doing that.
Mm-hmm.
They going back and forth, and I respect it. We here for it.
Yeah, man, listen, I'm not gonna have a problem. If I go back home tonight and I see another track, I'm gonna listen to it. You know what I mean? So I'm here for it. You know what I mean? Like I said, I'm an older man. Salute to all the people who are old picking sides. You're too old to be picking sides. People 30 and under, you can pick sides. If you're of my age or older, don't just enjoy it. You know what I mean? You're too old to be picking people's sides. We just enjoy it, because we remember what it was back in the 90s and the 2000s, where that was like the essence. You know what I mean? Of people like Common getting that. You know what I mean? Like that was Common getting that Ice Cube and stuff like that. That was the essence. I thought that this was over with after, the versus battle. I talked to Mike on the phone a couple days ago. I thought after the versus battle, I was kind of going to be it of the quote unquote like battle slash, and that wasn't really a beef. It was just guys just getting at each other and trying to, I'm trying to get one up on you and stuff like that. I thought that was over with, but now we have it here. So it's good to see that these guys are still doing it, because we might not see this with some of these new guys coming up. I don't know if we're going to see this from the.
This may be one of the last generations.
Yeah, I mean, from the little TJs and all, these younger guys.
Except for the young guys that's in the streets that's doing it.
Yeah, these young guys, they don't want to be.
They're not keeping that on wax.
They might just put you in the dirt.
They just want to get you up out of here. How you pushing up daisies?
Yeah, I mean, so that's what these new guys might be doing.
That's a fact. That's an absolute fact.
Yeah. So I can appreciate what they're doing, and I ain't got no problem with it. Absolutely not.
No doubt. Well, let me just hop on here real quick. I'm trying to see if anything else has come out. As Taylor said, when he goes home, if there's a song out, he's going to listen to it. I am going to do the same. But I'm just trying to see if anything else has popped up. I see them asking, did J. Cole play it smart by leaving the rap beef when he did? Taylor just addressed that and said, yes, he did.
He was smart.
He should have tucked his tail and got out the way. No disrespect, because I love J. Cole. I'm a big J. Cole fan. I've been rocking with J. Cole since the Come Up and the Warm Up, which was the two of the mixtapes he put out before he got on Rock Nation. That's before Friday Night Lights and all that other, although I've enjoyed those as well. But J. Cole is, when it comes to actually spitting and rapping, putting songs together and stuff like that, he stood the test of time. He pushed through them calling him Audio NyQuil and all the other stuff they was calling him at the beginning of his career, talking crazy about his music. But he just, this is a situation he probably shouldn't have stuck himself into.
Nah, I disagree. Now that's where I don't like J. Cole anymore. I think he's a bum. So I salute him for what he did.
That's
but
the two sides of the coin.
I don't. That was corny. I salute him for doing what he did. You know what I mean? Because he didn't want no smoke. I can always, Trey got out the car. I salute for Trey for what he did. You know what I mean? But
got out the car.
I salute him. You know what I mean? But was he scared? He didn't want no smoke, and he didn't want no smoke. You know what I mean? But he stayed alive. You know what I mean? Everybody else died. But and that's what J. Cole did. He got his punk ass about the car and walked home with the blood on his shirt. You know? I ain't mad at that.
Was in the curb swinging at the air.
Yeah, swinging at the air and crying in his daddy's lap and all that stuff. You know what I mean? I ain't mad at that. I ain't mad at that at all.
Well, you know that man don't. Well, I'm not gonna speak on his relationship with his father.
Yeah.
You drawing parallels to the movie. I hear where you.
Yeah, the movie. Yeah, just the movie.
I'm with you.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
By the way, me and Taylor are very big movie fans.
Yeah.
I would not go so far as to call myself a movie buff, because I don't watch movies to critique them. I watch movies for the enjoyment of them, which is also why there's certain movies I don't watch. For example, not a horror film guy. Not my bag. Taylor loves horror films.
I love
Taylor loves just about every kind of film.
Any kind of movie.
Me, I'm a little more particular. I like some action.
I love
like
Tubi movies
comedy.
Right now. Don't hate on the Tubi movies.
That's
I know the acting is terrible.
Salute to Tubi.
But those movies.
Tubi, if you get into
those movies are great.
Streaming podcast, you can holler at us.
If you want to put me in a movie and I get a pistol whipped or put in the back of a car, a drag, I'll do it for free just to be in a Tubi. Yeah, that's me right there. That's me getting dragged by the drug dealers.
And he will wear that badge proudly. He'll point it out to people. He'll support the movie.
Fly me out.
All that.
But you ain't got to pay me jack shit. I will do it for free.
Don't pistol with me no more.
Yeah. You can do all that stuff and make me look crazy just for me to be in a Tubi movie. I don't care. I love them Tubi movies. Dope.
But on the topic of movies, that's pretty much going to take us into. I mean, it's been a gang of nice movies that come out so far this year.
Yep.
movies that came out last year that we appreciated. And speaking on last year and speaking on the just past couple of months, we're going to get into our edition of Top 5, which is going to be the top 5 things that have happened since our last episode. We kind of got up out of here around the last football season when that started back in like September. So a good amount of stuff has transpired since then. It's been about, 8, 9 months?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that? Yeah. So, both locally and around the country and around the world, a lot's been going on from the war that's going on in Palestine between them and Israel is kicked up. The war over in Europe with Russia and Ukraine is still going on. They talking about people from Iran is attacking people in Israel as well, bombing them. So they about to turn into a little back and forth. As far as the world, it's a little bit of similarities and parallels between the world and the hip hop game, eh?
I mean, I guess so.
People is firing off, letting it go. But yeah, we just gonna kick around our top 5 things that we personally feel have happened since our last episode.
Dealing with us.
Yes. This is our personal
perspective,
feelings on what our top 5s are, the things that have happened. So at number 5 on my list, I'm gonna start it off on the topic of movies with a movie that came out a couple months ago. It was about a legendary figure who unfortunately is no longer with us, but that's Bob Marley, One Love.
Okay.
That was a joint. I was able to get out and see that with my girl and her son and his girlfriend at the time. And we went and checked it out in the movie theaters live. And that joint was solid. I think we saw it the day it came out because it came out on Valentine's Day. And we had a little, I guess you would call it, double date situation. And we had a good time. And it's a very good movie. I liked how his son came on in the beginning of the movie and said that he was on set for a lot of the production and a lot of what was going on to make sure that things were as authentic as possible. I forget what his name was because at this point, like I said, I saw it back in February.
Okay, all right.
And you know me, I dabble in some Mary.
Yeah, I know
so
what you mean, yeah.
I forget things. It's just the way it goes. But salute to Bob. Like I said, I dabble in that. So he is definitely somebody that I appreciate on that note, but also on the musical note because his songs were very uplifting. He was somebody that was trying to unify people and trying to push peace, and that's what we all about up here is trying to keep it peaceful. But yeah, that's my number 5. Number 4, I was kind of trying to avoid bringing this up and talking about this because homie got a lot of shine right now, and it's based off of his, what he did and his own back, his own sweat. But number 4, I gotta take it back to January, the first big interview of the year from Shannon Sharp, Cat Williams. That Cat Williams interview, and not even just because of the interview per se, because I didn't even watch the whole interview. It was like 3 hours. Didn't watch the whole thing. I caught like the first hour. I was like, yeah, I'm good. He said a lot of wild stuff. Did some research, and some stuff was yeah, but it's whatever. But it was for the fact that he was actually kind of prophetic in that interview when he said that 2024 was going to be the year of things being revealed and truth coming out and things coming to light and things like that. So, yeah, and with that aspect of it, I really appreciated that interview because, like I said, he was prophetic. That was the case. We had the Diddy stuff come out, and we've had numerous things happen just these first couple of months of the year. And we just, getting towards the midsection of the year right now. So, we'll see what happens for the rest of this this time, rest of 2024. But number 3 is something a little more personal to me, actually much more personal to me. I'm somebody who tries to advocate for learning and, reading as much as possible. And I can't say it if I don't do it, right? Yeah, we're not about that. So I've known about this book for a few years. It's called Never Split the Difference by a guy named Chris Voss. He's a former FBI interrogator. But I read that book, and I'm currently still in the process of rereading it, and I listened to it actually via Spotify as well because there's an audiobook on there because I feel like you should try to attack things as much as you can multi-layered. So if you're reading it and you're listening to it, not at the same time, obviously, but that gives you two opportunities to kind of really internalize what it is that you're dealing with. So I read that book, and I feel like it has a lot of good tools and principles in it that you can apply to everyday life and to all kind of situations. Because let's be honest, throughout the course of a regular day, you deal with a lot of negotiations that you might not even realize or notice that you actually deal with, whether it's between you and your child, trying to get them to go to sleep or trying to get them to eat this for breakfast or lunch, or it's you and your man, you and your lady, you know what I'm saying, y'all going back and forth about what y'all want to do for this or that. And, that's just kind of the way it is. So it's little subtle tools and assistances that, you can pick up and you can learn and you can practice to help you navigate these situations. So I felt like I learned and I gained a lot from reading that book. Number 2, got a salute to the big homie out in KC. Patrick Mahomes, won his 3rd Super Bowl, and he's been in the league 7 years. 3 rings in 7 years. That's amazing.
1 year didn't even start.
Exactly.
So basically 3 and 6.
That's got to be saluted. That's got to be appreciated, regardless of if you're a fan of this team or that team. Personally, I would consider myself to be a supporter of the Eagles. But listen, and he beat us in a bowl. I'll give him that. I'll take my hat out to him because, like I said, they beat us. Like, it wasn't like we just folded up. But that's amazing, and he has so much of his career still ahead of him. They're still a great team. They just gave Travis Kelce a big extension recently, which Mahomes saluted him on, and salute him on that as well because he deserves his money. He's been doing it for a long period of time, and he's about to run down on a couple of Tony Gonzalez's career records. And Tony Gonzalez, if you know football and like we've been around for a little while, Tony Gonzalez, he did his thing in Kansas City for a long time for teams that was not going nowhere near the playoffs. So definitely salute to Patrick Mahomes on getting that 3rd ring, and I hope he keeps it up and he keeps mashing because even if the Birds don't necessarily get one, although if they can get another one, that would definitely be what's up in my lifetime. That's greatness, bro. And that's to be saluted and that's to be appreciated. And he is half black, in case you didn't know. And that's going to follow us to ending it with number 1. And number 1 is a little bit of history for locally, the city of Philadelphia. Mayor Sherelle Parker was elected the first black female mayor in Philadelphia's history. So that's going to be my number 1 thing that's happened over this past, 6-8 months because that's history, like I said. And, she's trying to do some things. She's trying to bring some changes. And, the city needs some changes. The city needs some things to be done differently. I'm not going to speak on how they need to be done differently because I don't live in the city right now. I'm right outside. But, anything positive that can come and that can happen, that can make it safer, that can make it a little cleaner, that can attract a little more here, that can just improve things, I'm all about. And I feel like, everybody, for the most part, should be on the same page with that, right?
Absolutely. Facts.
Exactly. All right, so I'm going to swing it over to Taylor, and he's going to list off his top 5 things that have happened since the last episode.
All right, so since the last episode, back late summer, number 5 is, I'm not going to go with Cat Woods. I'm going to go with the man, Shannon Sharp. I mean, my God. I mean, the man is big time. I mean, me and Mikey grew up watching him play football. Like, this man, you just talked about Tony Gonzalez, but Shannon Sharp was a bad boy. 3 Super Bowl rings. And as soon as he got out of the NFL, he went right to CBS. Mm-hmm. So we saw him on CBS all these years, for damn near about 15 years. He was there doing the pre and post game show. Mm-hmm. And then I think he got fired or something like that. Or maybe the contract didn't get renewed. So he was kind of in the middle of just trying to find his way. I think he was on ESPN for a little while. Then, of course, he hopped on with Skip, whatever his name, Bayless. You know what I mean?
First take on
Undisputed.
Undisputed, that's what
it's called. The show got kind of watered down. I think it was time for him to go. Even though he left, I think it was time for him to do his own thing because he had put the show up
Skip
while
was
he
jealous.
was doing that. And,
Skip was jealous.
And now you got a man that has his own platform. He's got his own thing. He's part-time doing the first take with Stephen A. Smith. So I think the glow for him
And-
for a man in his mid-50s, yeah, he's doing his thing, man. I can't hate on that, man.
You know what else he has?
What he got now?
He's got a lot of haters.
That when you got hate, that's the best thing in the world.
Exactly. That's what you need. If you don't got haters, you're not doing nothing.
Yeah,
If you don't got haters,
Yeah.
you ain't popping.
Yeah, that's
Ain't that what
great.
French said? If you ain't got no haters, you ain't popping.
I mean, listen,
Yeah.
I don't watch the show now. I don't watch the show. I don't watch it at all. I mean, I watched, of course, the cat ones and the people I'm interested in. I'll just watch the clips. I think he got one with Charles Barkley that just came out recently. But
check out the clips.
Salute to this man who was, in the NFL for over 15 years. Then was on TV for 15 years. Was on the TV show for almost 10 years, and now still continuing his career as a social media interviewer, whatever he is. And he said he's not a journalist, so I got to salute him for changing his career over these past 30 plus years. You know what I mean? That's commendable for him.
We're just gonna jump on that bandwagon real quick too, just to let y'all know we are not journalists.
No, we ain't no journalists. No,
not journalists.
I'm far from it. You know
I am a college graduate, but not a journalist.
Far from it. Number 4, this is just personal for me. I'm in the fantasy baseball. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm setting lineups every day. I don't know what I'm doing, but I just have to keep the competitiveness in me. So I signed up for fantasy baseball a couple months ago. I think I'm like 2-3 right now. I don't know what I'm doing. I had Mike Trout. He had 10 home runs, and next thing you know, he just gets hurt out of nowhere. Played the whole game, and next thing you know, he just hurt. Messed my whole lineup up. But what it is you play a whole week to try to generate the points, as opposed to in fantasy football where it's just one week of it's kind of the same thing. But
it's a lot more frequent that you got to stay on top of it. That's why I can't do fantasy basketball, because it's just it's a few games a week. I'm not trying to keep up with all that, bro.
Yeah. So right now, Taylor is in the abyss of fantasy baseballs. Yeah. So
fantasy baseball.
That's my number 4.
Okay.
My number 3. A couple of shows have ended. While this not ended. So it hasn't. Well, the Power Show is about to end.
Yep.
BMF the season just ended, but my show that I watched for almost 10, 12 years, I used to watch with my father, was Curb Your Enthusiasm. It's a wrap, and love that show. And ended on a good note. The last episode was great. I laughed. I watched at least 3 or 4 times, but you know what I mean. So that's my number 3. That show is gone, but it's got plenty of episodes. I can literally just pick out. Oh, if you've never seen it before, I'm gonna pick out these 3 episodes for you, and you'll be like, oh, this is hilarious. You know what I mean? But end of an era for Larry David and all those guys. That's one of my favorite shows. And it still, makes me laugh to this day watching old episodes. Yeah, so that's my number 3. That Curb Your Enthusiasm is done, but
I gotta say,
gone but not forgotten.
I've seen a few episodes. I've not seen the whole series. I do still want to watch the whole series, so that's on my list of things to do. Yeah. But it's a very funny show.
It's hilarious. I mean, you're going to see yourself in some of these things. You're like, yo, that's me like 2 weeks ago. You know what I mean? My number 2, I've actually, since we're talking about sports, number 2 is I've actually gone to 3 sporting events in the last 6 months.
That's a fact. You've been active.
So yes, I went to the Phillies game too. I went to the Eagles game on Christmas Day, and I went to the Sixers game a couple weeks ago. They got smacked up. No, about a month or so against the Pelicans. So Taylor been out in these streets going to the actual games and stuff like that, doing his thing. You know what I mean? So me and my girl, we went and we had a great time. And so even though we be talking about sports and stuff like that, we love. I have to go to the sporting events and stuff like that. I haven't been to an Eagles game in almost 20 years. I've been to a couple of baseball games, you know what I mean? But that was the first time me being there during the playoffs, and that place was just, I thought the place was going to collapse.
It was rocking.
I thought the place was going to break. The floor was going to break. Them people did not sit down for the entire time in that lower bowl. They stood up the whole game. That's the game where they won 10-1 against Arizona.
I saw Philly be turned for the playoffs.
Now it went down the toilet after that game. But but game 2 was lit. Actually, I went to game 6 too. I forgot. Yeah, so I went to game 2 and 6. You know what I mean? So yeah. So yeah, I was fully entrenched. I went to 4 sporting events, 2 baseball games, basketball and football game in the past 6 months. Had a great time. You know what I mean?
Good
so
stuff.
that's my number 2.
Out here moving and shaking.
Yeah. But my number 1, I have a new favorite basketball player. Oh my God. Oh my God. You know what I mean? Like, first of all, the basketball player is not in the NBA. Zero. You know what I mean? So we can eliminate all them Negroes or whoever they are in the basketball. Not none of them. You know what I mean? And
What we talking about?
We talking about a female, but it's not who you think. I love Caitlin Clark. That's my girl. But number one is Juju Watson.
Caitlin.
Juju Watson is my new favorite basketball player. She's the truth.
Juju is the truth.
She got the commercial with Joel Embiid. She's a freshman. She got her team to the Elite Eight. That's my new favorite basketball player. And I'm just telling you right now, those girls right now that just got drafted in WNBA, y'all better get y'all rings right now, because as soon as Juju step on the floor, whatever team she get on, the championships are going to be gotten up. So Caitlin better get herself a ring in the next 3 years, because once Juju graduate or she get up out of USC, she's taking everything. She's taking the whole crown. She's going to take over for Candace Parker and all them girls that are kind of getting older. The Taurasi, I think she's still playing. Those girls are going to be up out of there. Yeah, all Sue Bird just retired. Them girls going to be going, and Juju's going to be up, and the WNBA is going to be up, because Juju's going to take over. You know what I mean? So she's only 18 years old, and she got it in. Got USC back to good graces, back in the Cheryl Miller days. You know what I mean? So that's number one. Is Juju Watson is my new favorite basketball player. You probably thought I would never say nothing like that, but I just did.
Nah, that's
a
beautiful.
Young
that's
female.
Beautiful.
If I had a daughter, that would be my daughter right there. You know, she'd probably be a little more darker skin because I'm black. You know what I mean? But you know what I mean. But that's my new favorite basketball player, Juju Watson. She's the truth. So salute to all the ladies getting it in. The basketball is dope. Had a good time watching all the females playing basketball this past year.
Yeah. Well, she's on the come up. She's definitely going to be in the discussion of top players that are coming out next year, right?
No, she's just a freshman.
In college, right?
Yeah, she's a freshman in college. Yeah. Oh, you're talking about in college? Yeah,
I'm
she's a
saying
sophomore.
Possibly coming out next year.
No, girls usually.
Or is she going to stay for a while?
Girls usually stay 4 years. Girls don't usually come out early. That's one good thing about the girls basketball team. They stay all 4 years. They don't really come out early.
And that's true.
Redshirt or something like that.
Especially since, as we know, unfortunately, with the new NIL situation going on, girls can typically make a little more in college than they can make in the NBA, depending on what their status is. Definitely, a player like Caitlin Clark or a player like Asia Reese were able to make more in college than they made from their base WNBA contracts.
She's about to bank a bunch of money while she's in college. She'll be fine.
That's what it is. But maybe we'll get back to that again soon.
Absolutely, yes, sir.
We'll see. Because there's going to be a discussion for a while as far as people are divided on this issue. Some people feel like things should kind of be, not things should be the way that they are, but things are the way that they are for a reason, as far as the differences in salaries between the two leagues. And some people feel like the NBA subsidizes the WNBA, so they should give them an influx of cash so that they can better provide for their players and give them a better salary, which in turn turns into a better quality of life and those types of things.
Yeah, we'll get into that in another episode. We'll get into that.
We'll chop it up. We like getting into some topics every now and again, especially if it's something that's making sense at the moment. All right. Well, we are going to close out this week's episode with T's thoughts. So, Taylor, what you got to share with the people? What's on your mind?
So, for all the new people that might not know, me and Mikey are going to be doing this at the end of the show. We're going to tell y'all what it is for all the new viewers.
Hey,
how
we
feel.
Name
T's thoughts and Mike's minute.
Yeah,
there we go.
But you just threw the IE on Mikey, so we gotta be
Mike,
easy with that.
My bad.
There we go.
Mike's minute and T's thoughts. We're gonna be talking about what we do at the end. Just what I thought. My only thoughts is right now is I'm very I'm tense when I'm out in these public areas and stuff like that. But over the last 7, 8, 9 months, I have not bombed on anybody, man. So that was going to be in my top 10. But I said I'm going to leave it in here. I have not yelled at anybody. I haven't bombed on anybody in the grocery stores. You know what I mean? Because I don't like people being too close up on me in some of these places. I've been to a couple theme parks and stuff like that, and people kept their distance. So I'm going to commend myself for being a calm, law-abiding citizen, not just just staying calm to myself, man. I guess I'm Wusan or something like that, man. I guess I'm a very nice guy, but I don't like the BS that goes on out in these public places and stuff like that. I'm just not with it, and I'm going to check you on it. You can watch some of the old episodes of how I've just bombed on people, whether it be in a drive-through,
Taylor has
Burlington
a
Coat
famous
Factory,
story where he
Yeah.
He screamed on somebody in the drive-thru.
Listen, man.
Tell you want to drop that story real quick, just one time.
For all the people that know, I like Burger King. At the end of the work, at the night when I'm done, you know what I mean, I'm chilling. I want to get my food and go home. I saw a panhandler up at the top of the drive-thru, I guess trying to get someone to buy, I'll just say her, some food. I'm not going to, unveil the story yet until the end. So she's going to every car asking them, can you buy me something? Can you buy me something? Can you buy? I see her. So I turned my music down and said, she better not come to my car at all. I'm not playing with her. And so I'm looking at my phone, checking some text messages. What do you think happened? She is right at my door. And as soon as she opened her mouth and said something to me, I said, back up, back up. I said, I will haul your ass in tonight, man. Don't you get them? And she got really, really scared and she ran. I mean, you cannot be getting close up on people like that. She was scared, she scared and she ran away. Everybody in front of me at the drive-thru was scared because they let her come up and stuff like that. And I don't know if they was giving her money. I said,
they was
no,
letting it ride.
I'm not with that, man. Don't come up to my car. I don't know who you are. You know what I mean? We in Northeast Philadelphia, but don't walk up on my car. And she ran her goofy ass across the street and into the bushes or something like that. Don't be running up on people's cars and stuff.
Don't be running up on anybody's car because people think that it's cool nowadays because people don't have that level of direct contact and interaction with people on a daily basis.
Yeah.
So you used to putting in your comments on the internet under people's pictures and stuff.
She was raggedy
and doing that type of stuff. So people will just approach you. I seen a video the other day where this guy was riding on the escalator down with his girl, and this other guy was riding on the escalator up, and he reached across and touched the girl's face.
Yeah.
And main man that was with the girl grabbed him up and snatched him over the escalator. And boy was like, "Yo, dog, what you doing? It was a joke, man. It's a video. It's a prank."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Yo, you tripping?" And he kept saying, "Yo, you tripping? Listen, man, you can't just be out here grabbing everybody, girl.
Yeah.
It's not cool. You can't just run down on anybody. It's like these young kids think it's cool.
I think it's funny.
It's not cool. It's not cool."
Yeah, so I just wasn't in the mood that night, to be, bothered, what I mean, at my car in the drive-thru when I had my window down. Like that's what we're not gonna do. You know what I mean? So yeah, you might say Taylor was me. No, I don't play like that. You know what I mean? I would never, if I was hurting with money and stuff like that, I wouldn't run up on people's car at nighttime. During the day it's different, but 11:30 evening, that's demon time. I'm not with that. This woman was clearly on drugs, and I don't play that kind of stuff.
Speaking of running up on cars, I got a question for you because I was thinking about this the other day.
Yeah.
Do people still be out in the streets with the squeegees and the squirt bottles trying to squeeze your people's windows and get the cash for that, get the little spare change for that?
I mean, I think they've kind of graduated to, selling waters on the side or something like that. I don't really see the people doing that.
I haven't seen the people out with the squeegees in a long time, but I do know that I see a lot of people standing around with the signs that say that I'm going through hard times. Can you help me out? And they walk up and down the little rows of cars.
Yeah.
That's kind of wild. I think they replaced the people with the squeegees.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, I kind of feel a way about that because I feel like that's a lack of effort on your part to want to do something to earn that money. Then people with the squeegees, they was
trying to help you out.
They was getting on your nerves, and a lot of times you probably didn't need them, but every now and again you might mess around need them, and they might do a good job. You give them a little $2-3 or whatever like that. Keep it moving
and mess with your tires and clean your tires up or something like that. You never know. You know what I mean?
As long as they don't throw your car up and steal your catalytic converter, because they out here. But that's a different story. And I apologize. I did not properly introduce T's thoughts, and y'all have to understand that sometimes that's how it goes. Like I do smoke a lot, so sometimes I just forget things. So for those of you that are new to the show, we usually end our episodes with a segment that we refer to as either T's thoughts or Mike's minutes. And it's just a couple of minutes that we take aside to share with y'all something that's on our mind, whether it's something motivational or it's something ratchet or, whatever it is. Sometimes it goes one way, sometimes it goes the other. But we just want y'all to know that that's what that segment is about. So that's how that go. And that's going to do it for this week's episode. So we appreciate everybody for tuning in and checking us out as we, pick back up this journey to, get this podcast up and rolling and bring y'all some entertaining content. And, that's really the focus of our show is to entertain, to maybe teach you a little bit here or there, to inspire people, to motivate people, because you know what I'm saying we not former rappers, we not former athletes. We just two dudes from the burbs that are cool, that have a great connection between us, so we've been told. And we like to talk our stuff. So, like I said, we appreciate anybody and everybody who wants to be on this ride with us. And like we said earlier, tell a friend to tell two friends about us, because we're trying to spread this. You can follow us on Twitter and IG at Sleep is for You. That's S.L.E.E.P.I.S, the number 4, Y-O-U. You can also check us out on YouTube at that exact same handle, Sleep is for You. You can listen to us audio-wise on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, Stitcher, Podbean, Samsung Podcasts, Player FM, Google Podcasts. Like I said, we everywhere. And, be on the lookout for more episodes. We're going to keep rocking with y'all as long as y'all keep rocking with us. Taylor, you got anything else to say?
Do people say like? People still say like and subscribe? Yeah, that's all I care about.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Like what we doing. I'm gonna be that guy. What we doing. Definitely subscribe to the YouTube page. Comment on what we doing so we know what's going good and we know what y'all not messing with. And you know what I'm saying? Y'all can drop y'all comments and y'all opinions about what we talking about. But outside of that, we up out of here. Water.
Excellence! Yeah. We back. Yeah.
The GP will see you now.
Look, free to return to that emo rap. Ain't no kilo stash. Augusta's son had to reload that. Daddy gone, but his legacy strong. How do you figure? I too thought I'd be dead, all things considered, but I'm living, thriving and growing, fighting opponents that I'm with it. Striving to know who died for the lowest, don't you get it? The industry hopers try to control us, I ain't with it. I got me a goal that's highly explosive with my wife and my baby. What I'm writing is weighty. Call me S.O. or Bebenberg, they knighting me lately. Stand where the light is, feeling lighter, delighted, and maybe I'm getting grown. Nothing wrong with Bible and Baileys. I open up the text, got my mind closer off the edge. Goes the architect, I ain't gotta go to your connect. I gotta go direct, him and I through the sun up.